so today is one of those days I don't have a lot of time. So what better time than now for a crock pot meal. So we're doing a Miso Ginger Chuck Roast. I have got just a 3-pound chuck roast here, some kind of Asian spices and seasonings. We're gonna throw it in the crock pot for most of the day, and then I'm gonna serve it with some rice, but you can do any vegetable you would like. Super quick and easy, so let's get right into it. So like I said, I've got a 3-pound chuck roast right here. I'm just gonna cut this up probably into 4 or 5 pieces, just so it cooks a little quicker in the crock pot, which is back there heating up. I'm gonna cook it on high. If you do high heat, it will cook for 4 to 5 hours. So better than the 8 to 9 hours on low. If you do that, you can do it overnight or start this in the morning before you go to work or whatever it may be. But for time's sake, we're doing high heat. And then I've got some tamari. You can use low sodium soy sauce if you want, but tamari is basically a stronger version of that, and it's gluten-free, so that's why I'm using that. I've got some miso paste right here. Not a common household item, but it lasts forever in the fridge, and you can be kind of creative with that, so highly recommend it. And then some honey, whatever honey you have, some rice vinegar, also lasts forever. 3 cloves of garlic is what's right here. We'll mash that up and put that in the crock pot. And then some fresh ginger. I grate my own. You can buy it, obviously, pre-grated or like in a little squeeze bottle. That's normally what I use anyways. And then some beef broth. We're gonna use about half a cup, so like half this container. Maybe a little more, just so we have a little broth, a little something to encourage the chuck roast to get going in the crock pot. But let's just dump that all in now, and then we'll wait. I actually cut the chuck roast into 6 pretty uniform sized pieces. So now we start dumping. First things first is the tamari. This is a 1/4 cup. Like I said, if you're using a low sodium soy sauce, then do a 1/3 cup, but we're gonna use less of the tamari. And then 2 tablespoons of the miso paste. That's what the recipe says, but 2 tablespoons is a 1/4 cup. For those of you that did not know, I don't know why people like to make recipes harder than they are, but it's just a 1/4 cup, so same deal. And then a 1/4 cup of honey. Now we're gonna do a tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar. I'm just kind of gonna guess the 1 teaspoon. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons, just for reference, so you guys know. 3 cloves of garlic right here, and then 3 tablespoons of fresh ginger. Now this part is optional, but you can do some red pepper flakes or some cayenne. The recipe calls for red pepper flakes. I don't think they carry much flavor or heat. I think they look pretty, but I like spice, as y'all know, so I'm gonna do some cayenne pepper. Probably a 1/4 teaspoon, but you guys play around with it. If you guys like spice, add more. And then our last ingredient is just the beef broth. This is 16 ounces, and I just used half this container just to make sure the meat is submerged halfway. If you guys wanted to make that whole spice mix in another bowl and just pour it over the meat, you could. I just didn't want to dirty up any more dishes, so I'm just tossing it in the spice mixture we created. Then I'll cover it and let it sit for quite a few hours. I already shredded this. Now it doesn't look real appetizing, but I wanted you guys kind of to see the texture. If you wanted to drain some of this liquid out, you totally could, but I think that's where all the flavor is. I've got the rice that I have cooked right here, so it is time to plate it up. This smells so good. I've got just some green onions here that I had in the fridge, and they look pretty, so we're throwing those on there. You could use cilantro, because you guys know I like cilantro on everything, but we're gonna do some green onions and then some sesame seeds that have no flavor, but they look pretty. And I'm gonna do some red pepper flakes as well. And that is one of the best dinners you can make with little to no effort, and I would say little to no time, but it kind of took most of the day. but it did not take long at all to prep it, as you saw. So I really hope you enjoy this one. It makes a lot. It's a cozy meal, but it's also pretty light. With the extras though, I just put it in individual Ziploc freezer storage bags. You know what I'm trying to say? And then I just freeze it. So it's there for quick and easy, convenient meal next time you want it. So enjoy it. I will see you guys in 2 weeks.